this video tutorial, I will show you how to reuse a dataset prepared for a biocidal product authorization to create a summary of product characteristics, an SPC. The data used in this video tutorial is for training purposes only. If you have already submitted an SPC for the product before, you should download the SPC from R4PP and convert it to a dataset to perform necessary updates. In such a case, the reuse of the corresponding biocidal product authorization is not recommended. From the list of mixtures, I select the dataset I want to reuse. The dataset opened was initially used to prepare a biocidal product authorization as indicated by the selected working context. To be able to reuse this dataset to create an SPC, I will have to change the working context. This will be done later during this video tutorial. Among all the documents present originally in the table of contents, only the documents relevant to the SPC will be displayed after switching to the SPC working context. The documents that will be included are biocidal product manufacturer in section 1.3, location of manufacturing site in section 1.3.1, identification of the biocidal product in section 2.1, all the compositions document in section 2.3, effectiveness against target organism in section 6.1, uses in section 7.1, method of application in section 7.6, proposed instruction for use in 7.9, measures to protect humans, animals, and the environment in section 11, classification and labeling in section 12.1, and packaging information in section 12.3. As the documents mentioned above are used by both working contexts, the fields relevant only to a biocidal product authorization will be hidden in the SPC view. However, the data inserted in these fields remained in the dataset and can be retrieved if the working context is changed again. Before changing the working context, I still need to do some verifications using the working context for biocidal product authorization. I go to section 2.3, where I make sure that the trade names are indicated, and under components, each substance is reported as a substance dataset. I verify the list of components to make sure that only substances that are relevant to the SPC will be included in the SPC dossier and SPC report, namely active substances, substances of concern, and releasers. In my list of components, there is a dye substance which is not a substance of concern. I open this substance and I flag it as not relevant to the SPC. In the flags window, under Use Restricted to Selected Regulatory Programs, I select Other and I write Not SPC. I close and I save. I can see the added flag. If I create a new biocidal product authorization dataset, I can of course add such a flag when I add each component. This flag will be useful to include only relevant components in the SPC Euclid dossier. Then I move to section 7.1 and I check whether all relevant documents, namely target organism, packagings, application methods, use specific instructions for use, are linked. Finally, I go to the section 12.3 packaging, where I can add the related information in the field Additional Information on Packaging. Only the content of this field will be transferred to the packaging section of the SPC. I save, and I can now change the working context. I select BPR Summary of Product Characteristics. I expand the table of contents and check all the documents. In the section Manufacturer of the product, I can see that limited information is provided compared to the biocidal product authorization. The same is also valid for location of manufacturing sites. However, the link between the manufacturing site and the product has been kept as established in the authorization dataset. In the next section, Product Information, the first document under SPC name and legal entity is a simplified version of the document used in section 2.1 of the Biocidal Product Authorization dataset. Family Meta-SPC product contains all documents belonging to the product composition. In this case, for a single product, I see here only biocidal product composition. The names of the documents displayed in the table of contents are the ones inserted in the original dataset. If edited, the document's name will appear in the same way in both working contexts. To avoid problems when uploading the SPC in R4BP, I strongly advise you to keep the names of the products in the tree view unchanged and to perform all needed changes in the field product name. Unless you build an SPC for the first time. The document's name in section Family Meta-SPC product have to be kept unchanged once the first SPC dossier has been submitted to ECHA. If I edit the document name to product and come back to the working context biocidal product authorization, the name will remain the same. Therefore, we recommend you to use the same product names in both working contexts and then keep them unchanged once the first SPC dossier has been submitted to ECHA. I change the working context back to SPC. I go now to the section Hazard and Precautionary Statements. I check in the document whether any of the phrases are parameterized. If yes, I add the required parameters. Here, I need to add organs and route of exposure. I save. Then I move to the section Authorized Uses. All linked documents are there as in the biocidal product authorization. I can see them in the main document, in the relevant fields, and in the table of contents. Let's check this reference document starting with target organism. This document is a simplified version of effectiveness against target organism, which is document also found under the BPR Biocidal Product Authorization dataset in the section Function and Mode of Control. Again, I can edit name of document here, having in mind that the new name will appear also in the BPR Biocidal Product Authorization working context. Let's open the other documents directly from the table of contents. Packaging contains only one field, which retrieves the content from the free text field at the end of the original packaging document used in the biocidal product authorization dataset. Opening the method document, I can see that this also contains a limited number of fields compared to the biocidal product authorization. If any information is missing, I can complete it. Finally, let's open Proposed Instruction for Use. I move to the next section, General Directions for Use, which contains documents measures to protect humans, animals, and the environment, with a limited number of fields. If I would change the working context again, I will be able to see all fields used in the biocidal product authorization working context. I change the working context again, and the last section in the SPC is other information. This is an original document existing only in the SPC working context. If needed, I can create a new document and enter any additional information relevant to the SPC. Once all the sections have been checked, I check them for completeness. I click on Validate. I need to select SPC type, market area, and language. And I click Validate. If there is any failure, I can correct it. In this case, I see that the data is complete as there is no failure listed. At the last step, I have to create a dossier, which is a non-editable copy of the SPC dataset. I click on Create Dossier. I add dossier name. The specific submission information is inherited from the validation step. They can, however, be updated if needed. At the bottom of the right side, I have two options, Create Dossier and Advanced Setting. I select Advanced Settings because I want to exclude from my dossier all the substances which are not relevant to the SPC. I scroll down through the list of flag here and I deselect Other. Now I can create a dossier. I open the dossier. I open the product document. I can verify that the dye substance marked with the flag in the biocidal product authorization dataset has been excluded from the SPC dossier. I finish by creating an SPC report in RTF format. I open the report. And I can see in the section 2.1 that the dye substance is not included.